So, welcome. This is our audience research for our radio play powered by SurveyMonkey. We sent a survey out round college and 43 people responded, which isn't a huge number, but it's enough for us to get some good results, as you will see throughout this presentation. So first of all on the survey, we asked a few sort of identification questions. Firstly, what is your gender? And these are the results that we got. 42% male and 58% female. Now what does this mean? It means that although there's not a straight down the middle split of 50-50, there's no major bias towards each gender. If it was 80-20, that would be something to worry about, but because it's 58-42, in my opinion, we can say that any results we get from this survey aren't biased towards a particular gender. So we can account for all the genders, well, to do with what we say. Next is what is your age? So we will plot the axes, and these are the results that we got. 0 people said they were 15 or less. 3 people said they were 16. The majority, 28 people, said they were 17. And 12 people said they were 18 or above. So if we stick on the 50% mark here, we can see 65% of people said they were 17. So we can now declare that the majority of people taking this survey are around 17 years old. Next, we asked, how often do you listen to radio per week? And these are the responses that we got. The majority of people said 0 to 1. 16 people said that. 14 people said 2 to 3 hours, 9 for 4 to 5, and 4 for 6 or more. These two bars here, from 0 hours to 3 hours, account for 70% of people who took the survey. So we can now say the majority of people who are taking this survey are 17 years old and listen to less than 3 hours of radio per week. Next, we wanted to find out what sort of stations they listen to. So we asked, which of the following do you listen to the most? And here's our lovely pie chart, and we will plot on it what we asked. We've had national commercial, regional commercial, national non-commercial, and regional non-commercial, and this is what people responded. We had 23% for both regional commercial and national commercial. We had 11% for regional non-commercial, and a whopping 43% for national commercial. So we can see that the majority of people listen to national non-commercial, regional commercial, and national non-commercial. Not many 17-year-olds, who took this survey anyway, listen to regional non-commercial stations such as BBC Radio Merseyside, BBC Radio Norwich, BBC Radio Lancashire, BBC Radio insert county here. The majority of people listen to national commercial such as Capital FM, which has took off in the last 10 or 20 years, and it is split evenly between regional commercial and national non-commercial, such as regional commercial like Wish FM in Wigan, national non-commercial such as BBC Radio 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or any one of your choice. Next, we ask people, what is your favourite subgenre of drama? And these are the results that we got. As you can see, crime won just about with 35% of the vote, and comedy came a close second with 26% of the vote. So it will most likely be a choice between these two when we decide which subgenre we should base our radio play on. I should also say that as one of the options or one of the answers to this question, people could have chose melodrama, but that got 0 votes, so I have not included it on the graph. Our next question was, how many radio plays have you listened to in your lifetime? And these are the results that we got. 24 people said 0, 14 people said 1 to 4, 2 people said 5 to 8, and 0 people said 9 to 12. So you would expect 0 people to have said 13 or more as well, but that is not the case. 3 people, or 7% of people who took the survey, said 13 or more. So we have to ask a question about this result on the end. Is it an anomalous result and should be discarded, or is it, as I think is more likely, telling us that we have got a niche audience to cater to, because the majority of people either don't listen to many radio plays or listen to quite a few. So this idea of a niche audience is something we will have to think about carefully when constructing our radio play. Next, we gave people a statement. Radio plays are slow-paced and boring, and we asked them to put themselves on a scale from 0 being disagree and 100 being agree of how much they agree with the statement. So here's our axis, and this is what people said. Now, apart from a few people sitting on the fence and a few people agreeing completely with the statement, nothing really jumps out at you. There is no clear trend in that data. We asked people, radio plays are mostly designed for pensioners, rate yourself on the same scale, and this is what people said. Now this time, if we look at this area here, it's a little bit more telling. There is a bit more of a bias towards the agree side of the axis. However, overall, on both of these two graphs, granted they're not very good graphs, but nothing really jumps out at you. So I am declaring these two statements or these two questions statistically insignificant, and therefore we will not base our decisions when constructing our radio play on these two questions because they don't really give us any clear or useful information. We asked people, do you know anyone who listens to radio plays? 19 people said yes, 24 people said no. The people who said yes, we said, if yes, how old are they? And these are the results that we got. 5% of people said 26 to 45, and 95% of people said 46 or more. These two white bars here, 95%, which shows us quite clearly that our target audience is going to be the older generation. 46 isn't that old, but 46 upwards, getting towards retirement age. So if we stick all of the important graphs on, we can make a few conclusions. We can say that our target audience is not 15 to 18-year-olds. We can say that it is not people who listen to less than 4 hours of radio, and we can say that it is not people who listen to national or regional commercial radio stations. But what we can say is it might be over 40s, our audience might be regular listeners of radio, and our audience are likely to be listeners of non-commercial or little commercial radio, if that is such a thing. So what we are looking for when we decide which station to air our drama on is possibly a regional or national non-commercial station. I'd probably say regional. That's, from my experience, that's where I hear the best ones. It has regular listeners who are over 40, around the sort of retirement age mark is what I'd say. So we're going to have to think long and hard about which radio station our play could be aired on, because to be honest, none really spring to mind. But what we definitely know is that there is a positive correlation between the age of people and the amount of radio plays they listen to. So our audience is definitely going to be sort of around the 40s, 50s and 60s mark. It is not going to be our age group. Thank you very much.